My precious child, pause for a moment, because what I am about to reveal to you has never been released in this way before. Today, on March 6th, heaven has marked your name. Tonight, your pillow will be soaked with tears of joy instead of sorrow. A massive turnaround is happening in 2 minutes. This is not poetry. This is not motivation. This is a divine interruption. For months, maybe even years, your pillow has known your silent battles. It has absorbed the tears you never showed anyone, the disappointment, the confusion, the prayers whispered into the darkness when no one else was listening. You thought heaven was silent. You thought nothing was changing. But what you could not see was the movement behind the veil. Today, on March 6th, something shifts. And it shifts fast. Before this message ends, something in your spirit will align. Before the night is over, something in your atmosphere will rearrange. And by the time your head rests again, those tears will no longer be heavy with sorrow. They will be overwhelmed with relief. There is a reason you were led here at this exact moment. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over divine transitions. When heaven prepares a turnaround, there is spiritual movement before physical evidence. That tension you have been feeling, that restlessness, that strange mixture of exhaustion and expectation, it is not random. It is a signal. You are standing at the edge of reversal. The enemy believed your tears were proof of defeat, but heaven recorded every single one. Not one drop was wasted. Every tear became a seed, and seeds, when planted in faith, must produce a harvest. Listen carefully. This is not a small adjustment. This is not a minor improvement. This is a massive turnaround. The situation that looked permanent is about to become temporary. The delay that felt endless is about to reveal its purpose. The closed door that hurt your heart is about to be understood as divine protection. Tonight will not look like last night. Something is being overturned. Have you noticed how things have been unusually intense lately? How emotions have felt amplified? How certain relationships have been exposed? That is because when heaven prepares to bless you publicly, it first purifies your environment privately. March 6th carries a spiritual weight for you. It is a line drawn in the sand. What was before this day cannot follow you into what is coming next. Within the next 2 minutes of your life, as you lean into this message, agreement will form between your spirit and heaven's decision. And when agreement happens, acceleration follows. Archangel Michael does not move without purpose. Where there has been warfare, there will now be witness. Where there has been pressure, there will now be promotion. Where there has been hidden pain, there will now be visible peace. But here is what you must understand. The tears of joy are not just about receiving something. They are about realizing something. You are not forgotten. You were never abandoned. The silence was not absence. It was preparation. The nights you cried were not weakness. They were consecration. And tonight, when your pillow is soaked again, it will not carry despair. It will carry gratitude so overwhelming that you will struggle to explain it to anyone. Something that has been stuck is breaking loose. A message you have been waiting for. An answer you almost stopped expecting. A release you thought would never come. It is closer than your doubt. Right now, heaven is aligning pieces you cannot see. Conversations are being stirred. Decisions are being influenced. Hearts are being softened. Doors are being unlocked quietly. And the most powerful part, you did not have to force it. This turnaround is not coming because you fought harder. It is coming because your season has changed. You survived the trial that qualified you for the transition. And as March 6th unfolds, The spiritual atmosphere around your home is shifting. Pay attention to your dreams tonight. Pay attention to the peace that will suddenly replace anxiety. Pay attention to the unexpected sense of relief that will wash over you without warning. That is the sign. Your story is pivoting. The same pillow that carried your grief will now carry your gratitude. The same night that once felt heavy will feel sacred. And in exactly the way you did not expect, God will prove that delay was never denial. Stay with this message in your spirit, because what is unfolding next will confirm everything you are feeling right now. The countdown to your turnaround has already begun. Chosen one, lean in carefully because what is happening right now is delicate, powerful, and time-sensitive. Today on March 6th, the spiritual atmosphere around you is not ordinary. There is movement in places you cannot see. There are decisions being influenced behind closed doors. There are hearts being softened without your knowledge. And the reason you have felt such unusual emotional intensity is because you are standing at the edge of divine reversal. When a massive turnaround is about to occur, the final stretch often feels the heaviest. That weight you felt this morning was not a sign of defeat. It was the final resistance before breakthrough. Think about it. Right before a storm clears, the wind grows louder. Right before sunrise, the darkness feels thickest. And right before God shifts your story, doubt tries one last time to speak. But doubt will not win this time. For months, you carried silent burdens, responsibilities that felt unfair, delays that felt humiliating, prayers that seemed unanswered. You kept showing up even when you were tired of pretending to be strong. And every night, when your head touched that pillow, you released what you could not release in public. That pillow became your witness. It absorbed tears of confusion, frustration, and longing. Tonight, it will absorb something different. The reason the turnaround is happening so quickly, within what feels like 2 minutes, is because it has been building for far longer than you realize. Heaven does not rush preparation. While you thought nothing was changing, foundations were being laid. While you felt stuck, alignment was quietly forming. Archangel Michael hath been standing guard over this transition, ensuring that no premature interference disrupts what is rightfully yours. There were moments recently when giving up felt easier than believing again. You may have even said, maybe this is just how my life is going to be. That thought was not from faith. It was from fatigue. And fatigue can distort perspective. But the fact that you are still here, still listening, still hoping, that proves the fire inside you never went out. Tonight, when your pillow is soaked again, it will not be from heaviness. It will be from relief. Relief that something finally shifted. Relief that the pressure broke. Relief that the waiting season reached its end. March 6th marks a dividing line. Before this day, you were enduring. After this day, you will begin experiencing evidence. The turnaround is massive because it changes direction. What was declining will begin rising. What was delayed will begin accelerating. What felt blocked will begin flowing. And here is something critical. The shift will begin internally. You may feel sudden calm where anxiety used to sit. You may notice clarity replacing confusion. You may sense courage where fear once dominated. That is the first wave. The external confirmation follows the internal alignment. Archangel Michael's protective presence symbolizes something powerful in this moment. Spiritual battles have been fought on your behalf. Not everything you faced was physical. Some of it was unseen resistance. But that resistance has weakened. The guard has shifted. The gate is opening. You might receive unexpected news. A message you have been waiting for. a financial opening, a restored conversation, or simply a deep, undeniable peace that tells you it's turning. Do not underestimate small signs. Massive turnarounds often begin with subtle confirmations. And listen carefully. Do not talk yourself out of joy when it arrives. Sometimes after prolonged disappointment, we hesitate to celebrate. We question good news. We prepare for it to disappear. Do not do that this time. Receive it fully. Let the tears fall freely. Let gratitude overflow without suspicion. This breakthrough is not fragile. It is established. If something inside you is resonating strongly right now, pause for a second. Like this video as a sign of agreement. Share it with someone whose nights have also been heavy. Comment what you are expecting God to turn around in your life. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing movement of faith. When you engage, you help push this message into places where someone is on the verge of losing hope. Hype this word with boldness, because someone else's breakthrough may be connected to your willingness to spread light. You are not watching this by accident. There is precision in this timing. Out of millions of distractions, you landed here on March 6th. That is alignment. Something irreversible has begun. The sorrow attached to your nights is losing authority. The narrative that said nothing will change is collapsing. And as this evening unfolds, you will sense it. A quiet but undeniable shift. Hold this expectation close. What is about to unfold next will reveal why the delay had to happen exactly as it did, and why your tears were never wasted in the first place. Faithful one, there is a sacred reason your tears were allowed to fall for so long before this night of joy was appointed. Heaven does not waste pain. Every silent cry you released into that pillow was collected, counted, and consecrated. You thought those nights were signs of weakness, but they were actually moments of preparation. Today on March 6th, the preparation meets fulfillment. You have been in a refining season, not a punishment season, not a forgotten season, a refining season. There is a difference. In refinement, impurities rise to the surface so they can be removed. In abandonment, nothing changes. But look at you. You are not the same person you were months ago. The pain shaped you. The waiting matured you. The silence deepened your discernment. And now comes the release. Tonight, when your pillow is soaked with tears of joy instead of sorrow, it will mark the end of emotional captivity. The heaviness that followed you into the dark will no longer control your nights. There is something powerful about night seasons. It is when thoughts grow louder. It is when doubts try to speak. It is when loneliness feels magnified. But it is also when divine reversals quietly begin. Archangel Michael stands as a symbol of divine enforcement. When heaven declares a turnaround, it is not a suggestion. It is a decree. And decrees do not negotiate with doubt. What is shifting for you now is not fragile. It is established by authority beyond human influence. You have been asking for clarity. The clarity is coming. You have been asking for confirmation. The confirmation is coming. You have been asking for restoration. The restoration is unfolding in ways you could not predict. But understand this deeply. The massive turnaround happening within these 2 minutes is not measured by a clock. It is measured by agreement. The moment your spirit fully agrees with what God is declaring, acceleration begins. Resistance loses its grip. Fear steps back. And faith steps forward with confidence. Some of you will experience reconciliation. Some will experience unexpected financial relief. Some will receive news that shifts your entire outlook. And others, will simply feel an internal peace so overwhelming that you know something invisible has changed. Do not compare your turnaround to anyone else's. Divine timing is customized. March 6 will be remembered, not because everything became perfect overnight, but because direction changed. And when direction changes, destiny follows. You survived nights that could have broken you. That is not small. You endured silence that could have hardened your heart. Yet you remained open. You kept praying even when you were tired of repeating the same words. You kept hoping even when hope felt distant. Tonight, joy interrupts sorrow. And here is what makes it powerful. The same pillow that absorbed your grief will now witness your gratitude. That is poetic justice from heaven. What once held your confusion will now hold your clarity. What once carried your disappointment will now carry your relief. Do not underestimate tears of joy. They are evidence that pressure has broken. They are evidence that tension has released. They are evidence that something long-awaited has finally arrived. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment signifies that what tried to intimidate you has lost its authority. The battle that felt endless has reached its conclusion. You may not see every detail immediately, but you will feel the shift undeniably. And when you do, let gratitude flow without restraint. If this word is piercing your spirit, type "I receive my turnaround" in the comments right now. Let it be your declaration of agreement. Blessing code 346 is being released over those who align with this word tonight. Do not hesitate to claim what is yours. Now hear this clearly as we transition. When heaven releases a turnaround, it also releases responsibility. You are being trusted with a new level of peace, a new level of influence, and a new level of testimony. Your story will strengthen someone else's faith. As this message reaches your heart, I must speak to those who feel stirred to act. This mission of spreading God's word is like sowing seeds into thirsty soil. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting light in someone's darkness. The Lord says, as you water others, you will be watered. This is your moment to respond prophetically. If you feel that stirring inside, say within yourself, I will fuel the harvest. Your generosity becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning across nations. Step into obedience and release your seed now. Something sacred has shifted tonight. And what unfolds next will reveal how deeply this turnaround is about to transform your entire atmosphere. Courageous heart, now that the decree has been spoken and the shift has begun, this is where evidence starts forming in ways you can actually recognize. Today on March 6 was not just emotional reassurance. It was a spiritual pivot point. And when heaven pivots your story, the ripple effects move through every layer of your life. You have spent so long surviving that thriving almost feels unfamiliar. You became skilled at managing disappointment. You learned how to lower expectations so you would not be crushed again. You mastered the art of appearing calm while storms raged internally. But survival mode is not your permanent identity. It was a temporary strategy. Now that strategy is expiring, the massive turnaround happening in what felt like 2 minutes did not appear out of nowhere. It has been building behind the scenes. Think about a door that has been stuck for months. You push it every day and it does not move. Then suddenly, one day it swings open easily. It may look sudden, but the pressure was building the entire time. That is what is happening in your life. Pressure built faith. Pressure built endurance. Pressure built depth. And now that depth is about to hold blessing. Archangel Michael's presence in this message represents enforcement of divine timing. When something has been delayed beyond its rightful season, heaven intervenes. Not dramatically, not chaotically, but decisively. And what is decisive cannot be reversed by doubt. In this stage of your turnaround, you will begin noticing subtle confirmations. A sense of unusual calm in situations that once triggered anxiety. A shift in how others respond to you. Opportunities that feel aligned rather than forced. These are not small things. They are signals that direction has changed. You crossed a threshold on March 6th. Before this date, you were carrying weight that did not belong to your future. After this date, that weight begins to fall away. Not all at once, but steadily. And the most powerful sign will be internal stability. Your thoughts will feel clearer. Your decisions will feel stronger. Your emotions will feel less chaotic. Tonight, when your pillow is soaked with tears of joy instead of sorrow, it will symbolize more than relief. It will mark restoration of confidence. For too long, you questioned yourself. You wondered if you misheard God. You wondered if you misunderstood your path. But the turnaround will confirm that you were not wrong. You were early. There is a difference. Early feels like rejection. Early feels like isolation. Early feels like waiting alone. But when timing catches up, everything makes sense. This is why you must guard your mindset now more than ever. After long seasons of disappointment, it is easy to brace yourself for loss. You may feel tempted to say, "Let's see how long this lasts." That cautious voice once protected you, but it cannot lead you into your next season. Expectation must replace hesitation. As your atmosphere shifts, you may even feel prompted to reorganize your space, clear out old items, or change routines. Follow those instincts. Physical alignment often mirrors spiritual alignment. When heaven shifts something internally, your environment begins responding externally. Some relationships will feel different too. Not because people changed overnight, but because your frequency shifted. When your peace increases, chaos becomes uncomfortable. When your confidence rises, insecurity cannot attach itself the same way. This is not separation for loss. It is separation for clarity. The turnaround is massive because it is foundational. It changes direction at the root. Instead of reacting to life, you will begin responding from authority. Instead of feeling chased by problems, you will feel positioned for progress. Archangel Michael's symbolic guardianship over this transition reminds you that not every battle needs to be fought by you. Some struggles were never yours to carry. And as those unseen conflicts settle, you will notice energy returning to you. Motivation will resurface. Creativity will reawaken. Vision will expand. That is evidence. Do not look for fireworks. Look for steadiness. Look for peace where panic used to live. Look for gratitude rising without effort. Those are the signs of real change. And understand this clearly. The tears of joy tonight will not just be emotional overflow. They will be confirmation that sorrow's assignment has ended. Sorrow had a timeline. It was never permanent. It taught you resilience, but it was never meant to define you. March 6th will remain etched in your memory as the moment the current shifted. You may not see the entire picture immediately, but you will feel the difference unmistakably. Something irreversible has begun. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are preparing for increase. The night that once felt heavy is becoming sacred ground. And as this momentum continues building, what unfolds next will challenge you in a different way, not through pain, but through opportunity. How you step into that opportunity will reveal how fully you have embraced this divine turnaround. Stay alert in your spirit, because what is unfolding now is no longer subtle. The shift that began on March 6 is moving from internal awareness into external confirmation. You may not see fireworks, but you will sense momentum. Something that felt frozen for months is beginning to thaw. Something that felt locked is beginning to loosen. And something that felt hopeless is beginning to breathe again. This is the evidence phase of your massive turnaround. For a long time, you carried disappointment like a quiet shadow. It followed you into conversations. It followed you into decisions. It even followed you into prayer. You believed in but cautiously. You hoped but carefully. You trusted but with reservations. That guarded posture protected you when outcomes kept falling apart. But it also kept you from fully expecting restoration. Now restoration is no longer distant. When God declared that tonight your pillow would be soaked with tears of joy instead of sorrow, it was not an emotional exaggeration. It was a spiritual forecast. Those tears of joy represent the breaking of prolonged tension. They represent the moment when pressure finally releases. They represent the relief of realizing, I was not forgotten after all. You are stepping into confirmation. Over the coming hours and days, watch how subtle doors begin to open. A delayed response finally arrives. A stalled situation begins to move. An internal struggle that once consumed your thoughts starts losing its intensity. These are not random improvements. They are coordinated shifts. Archangel Michael's symbolic guardianship over this season signifies that unseen battles have reached resolution. Some of what you faced was not merely circumstantial. It was spiritual resistance trying to exhaust you before your appointed time. But exhaustion did not win. You are still standing. And because you are still standing, you are now positioned to witness what persistence produces. Notice how your thinking is changing. You are no longer rehearsing worst-case scenarios as often. You are beginning to imagine positive outcomes again. You are starting to plan without immediately anticipating failure. That cognitive shift is powerful. It signals that fear is loosening its grip. This turnaround is massive because it alters your internal narrative. Instead of asking, what if it doesn't work? You will begin asking, what if it does? Instead of assuming delay, you will begin expecting flow. Instead of bracing for loss, you will prepare for increase. And shift in expectation changes everything. Tonight, when your pillow absorbs tears of joy instead of sorrow, those tears will carry validation. They will whisper, the waiting had purpose. They will confirm that endurance was not wasted energy. They will testify that silence did not mean absence. March 6 marked the pivot point, but pivots require participation. As clarity becomes sharper, act on it. As opportunities surface, respond with courage. Do not let the memory of past disappointments dictate your response to present possibilities. You may also feel prompted to reorganize aspects of your life. Clean out old items. Insert in patterns. Reevaluate priorities. Follow those nudges. External order often follows internal breakthrough. When your spirit stabilizes, your environment naturally begins aligning with its stability. Be mindful of conversations as well. You may notice certain individuals responding differently to you. Not because they changed, but because your energy changed. When you carry peace instead of tension, interactions shift. When you project confidence instead of uncertainty, people sense it. This is not about pride. It is about alignment. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence reminds you that protection remains active during transition. Just because momentum is building does not mean resistance disappears instantly. But now, resistance has less influence. It cannot dominate your outlook the way it once did. There may still be brief moments when old fears attempt to surface. That is natural. Growth does not erase memory overnight. But now you possess evidence to counter those fears. You have felt the shift. You have sensed the relief. You have recognized that something changed on March 6th, and that awareness strengthens you. This new pattern forming in your life includes stability, not chaos. It includes clarity, not confusion. It includes measured progress, not repeated setbacks. You are not stepping into another cycle of the same struggle. You are stepping into an upgraded season. Massive turnarounds often unfold layer by layer. The first layer was internal peace. The second layer is visible progress. The next layers may involve restored relationships, financial adjustments, renewed purpose, or unexpected favor. Let each layer reveal itself without forcing it. Trust the process. You are no longer walking toward exhaustion. You are walking toward expansion. The heaviness that once defined your nights is losing authority. The sorrow that once felt permanent is proving temporary. And tonight, as your pillow becomes a witness to gratitude instead of grief, you will feel it deeply. A quiet realization will rise within you. This is truly changing. Hold that realization firmly, because what unfolds next will require you to step forward boldly, fully aware that you are no longer the same person who once cried without answers. Stay anchored right here, because this stage of your journey is critical. What began on March 6th as a sudden spiritual shift is now settling into structure. The emotional wave you felt is becoming a steady foundation under your feet. And foundations matter more than feelings. Feelings announce change, but foundations sustain it. You are no longer waiting for a turnaround. You are standing inside one. For months, maybe even years, your energy was spent managing disappointment. You developed quiet coping mechanisms. You lowered expectations so outcomes would hurt less. You prepared yourself for silence instead of celebration. Even when you smiled publicly, there was a private heaviness you carried into the night. That pillow knew your unfiltered prayers. It absorbed questions you were too tired to speak aloud. But now something has stabilized within you. Notice how your breathing feels lighter when you think about the future. Notice how the same problems that once overwhelmed you now feel solvable. Notice how you are less reactive and more reflective. That is evidence of internal authority returning. The massive turnaround is not just about what changes around you. It is about who is rising within you. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this message represents decisive protection during transition. You were not fighting alone in the unseen realms. There were battles you did not even know were happening on your behalf. Some delays were divine detours. Some closed doors were shields. Some uncomfortable endings were necessary extractions. Now that protection shifts into promotion. Momentum is beginning to build in subtle but undeniable ways. Conversations are flowing differently. Opportunities are appearing with less resistance. Ideas that once felt premature now feel timely. These are not random events. They are coordinated movements aligning with the decree spoken over your life. But this is the moment where mindset becomes everything. After prolonged disappointment, it is easy to brace for loss even when gain appears. You might feel tempted to say, "Let me not get too excited." That guarded voice once protected you from heartbreak. But it cannot guide you into expansion. Guarded thinking blocks growth. Expectation must now replace hesitation. Tonight, when your pillow is soaked with tears of joy instead of sorrow, those tears will symbolize release from defensive living. You are no longer preparing for collapse. You are preparing for consistency. That emotional release is not temporary excitement. It is the body responding to long-awaited relief. You are stepping into sustainable peace. And sustainable peace changes how you move. It changes how you speak. It changes how you plan. Instead of making decisions based on fear of failure, you will begin making decisions based on vision. Instead of shrinking your goals to avoid disappointment, you will allow yourself to dream with structure. Archangel Michael symbolizes courage in the face of opposition. In the same way, you must respond courageously to what unfolds next. If a door opens, walk through it without rehearsing worst-case scenarios. If reconciliation becomes possible, engage it without replaying old wounds. If financial opportunity arises, receive it without suspicion. Do not sabotage what you prayed for. March 6 marked a clear dividing line. Before that date, you were in endurance mode. After that date, you are in alignment mode. Endurance required patience. Alignment requires participation. Pay attention to your habits in this phase. You may feel prompted to wake earlier, to organize your environment, to manage your time differently. These nudges are not random. They are signs that your internal world is synchronizing with new external responsibility. Momentum requires stewardship. If this message is confirming what you are already sensing, take a moment right now to like this video and share it with someone who needs strength in their own transition. Comment what changes you have begun noticing since March 6th. Subscribe to this channel and remain connected to this flow of encouragement. When you engage, you are helping extend this word into spaces where someone may be questioning whether their breakthrough is real. Hype this message boldly, because your action may carry hope into a home that desperately needs it. Stay attentive as this unfolds. Over the next few days, you will see tangible signs that the shift is not imagination. Improved sleep, clearer conversations, decisions made with less internal conflict, financial or relational adjustments that move in your favor. These confirmations will build your confidence. The sorrow that once felt permanent has reached its expiration. The heaviness that once followed you into every room is dissolving. You are not circling the same struggle again. Something stable hath been established beneath you. And as this stability strengthens, the next development will stretch you in a new way, not through pressure, but through possibility. Hold your posture steady. What is coming will require you to fully embrace the identity of someone whose season has truly changed. Lift your head higher now, because this phase of your journey is not about escaping pain anymore. It is about embracing purpose. What began on March 6th as a massive emotional and spiritual turnaround is now maturing into something more structured, more deliberate, and more powerful. You are not just recovering. You are repositioning. There is a profound difference between relief and readiness. Relief is the moment you realize the pressure has broken. Readiness is the moment you understand you are prepared for what comes next. You have already experienced relief. The tears of joy that replaced sorrow confirm that the weight lifted. But now readiness is forming within you. For a long time, your focus was survival. You measured your strength by how much you could endure. You celebrated small victories because even getting through the day felt like an accomplishment. And that endurance built resilience in you that you did not even recognize at the time. You were being trained through pressure. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this season represents not only protection during battle but empowerment after victory. There is a shift from defense to advancement. During the storm, you were shielded. Now you are being strengthened to step forward with authority. Notice how your posture is changing. You are not shrinking the way you used to. You are not apologizing for taking up space. You are not doubting every decision before making it. That internal shift may feel subtle, but it is profound. It signals that your identity is evolving. A massive turnaround is not just about external circumstances aligning. It is about internal confidence stabilizing. Before, you questioned whether you were capable. Now you are beginning to sense that you are equipped. Before, you hesitated because you feared repeating past disappointments. Now you are willing to move because you trust your growth. The March 6th was the pivot point. But this stage is about progression. You may begin noticing that opportunities are appearing that match your matured mindset. Conversations are more meaningful. Invitations feel aligned. Responsibilities feel manageable rather than overwhelming. This is not coincidence. It is capacity with the opportunity. However, expansion requires discipline. Massive turnarounds can fade if not stewarded properly. Guard your peace intentionally. Protect your routines carefully. Maintain the clarity you fought hard to gain. The same pillow that once absorbed tears of sorrow now symbolizes rest restored. Protect that rest. Do not allow unnecessary stress back into your space. Archangel Michael symbolizes decisive courage in moments of transition. In this same way, when clarity comes to you now, act on it without delay. If you sense it is time to start something new, begin. If you feel prompted to release something old, let it go. If reconciliation is possible, pursue it with wisdom. Your new season requires movement. There will be moments when memory attempts to replay former failures. Do not let those memories dictate your future posture. They are evidence of what you survived, not predictions of what will repeat. You are not the same person who once cried without answers. Growth has changed you. The tears of joy that marked your turnaround were not simply emotional overflow. They were milestones. They confirmed that sorrow's assignment had ended. They signaled that your nights would no longer be dominated by uncertainty. Now your days must reflect that shift. You may feel an urge to organize your environment, restructure your schedule, or refine your goals. Follow those impulses. They are signs of readiness. When your internal world stabilizes, your external world naturally seeks order. This new phase is not about speed, it is about stability. Quick excitement fades, but steady growth endures. Build carefully. Plan thoughtfully. Move intentionally. You are not chasing breakthrough anymore. You are cultivating sustainability. Archangel Michael's symbolic guardianship assures you that protection continues even as you advance. But protection does not replace responsibility. You must partner with the shift. Speak life over your progress. Reject language that diminishes your growth. Surround yourself with voices that reinforce clarity rather than chaos. You are entering a building season. Before you were asking, when will this change? Now you are asking, how do I steward this change? That question alone proves transformation. The massive turnaround was not an emotional high meant to fade by morning. It was the beginning of structural realignment. You are moving from survival to strategy, from endurance to expansion, from sorrow to strength. As this unfolds, you will feel moments of stretching. Stretching is not struggle, it is growth. Embrace it. Trust that the same guidance that carried you through the storm is guiding you through success. Hold steady. What comes next will require vision larger than what you allowed yourself to imagine during the hard season. But you are ready now. The night of sorrow has closed. The season of building is fully underway. Anointed soul, settle into this moment because what is happening now is not ordinary growth. It is sacred multiplication. The shift that began on March 6 was the breaking of sorrow, but this stage is the building of legacy. You have already crossed from tears of pain into tears of joy. Now you are crossing from restoration into expansion. There is a difference between being rescued and being repositioned. Rescue pulls you out of danger. Repositioning places you where you were always meant to stand. March 6 rescued your heart from prolonged heaviness. But what is happening now is repositioning your life for increase. You may feel it in subtle ways. Your thinking is broader. Your prayers are bolder. Your plans are stretching further into the future. You are no longer asking only for relief. You are asking for impact. That shift in desire reveals maturity. It reveals that sorrow refined you rather than reducing you. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this season represents strategic advancement under divine command. You're in your battle, protection with a priority. Now that the battle has subsided, promotion becomes possible. Protection guarded your survival. Promotion activates your influence. Influence requires stewardship. The massive turnaround that happened within those 2 powerful minutes was not simply emotional release. It was divine authorization. It was heaven declaring that your season of limitation had reached its end. But authorization without discipline can become instability. That is why this stage demands focus. Guard your habits carefully. What you repeat daily will either reinforce your growth or weaken it. Continue protecting your peace. Continue nurturing your spiritual awareness. Continue speaking with intention. The same attention you gave to surviving must now be given to building. You may notice opportunities emerging that once felt out of reach. Conversations are carrying new respect. Doors are opening without the same resistance. Even your posture feels different, more upright, more confident, more secure. This is not pride. It is alignment. But remain humble. Pride will attempt to claim credit. Fear will attempt to predict collapse. Both are distractions. The truth is that you endured with faith and you now expand with wisdom. Remember the nights when your pillow absorbed tears of confusion. Remember how fragile you felt. Let that memory keep you grounded, not fearful. Tonight, as tears of joy continue to replace sorrow, understand that those tears are not the end of the story. They are seeds. Gratitude is fertile soil for multiplication. The more thankful you remain, the more stable your increase becomes. Gratitude keeps expansion healthy and sustainable. Some people around you will celebrate your growth. Others may feel uncomfortable. Growth often reveals who is aligned with your future and who was only comfortable with your past. Do not shrink to maintain familiarity. You were not turned around to remain hidden. Archangel Michael symbolizes courage when stepping into divine assignments. In the same way, you must embrace courage as responsibility increases. If leadership is offered, accept it with preparation. If financial growth appears, manage it with discipline. If creative ideas surface, develop them with consistency. March 6 marked your crossing point from containment into capacity. But capacity is meant to be filled. You are not expanding to stay idle. You are expanding to carry greater purpose. Multiplication does not happen chaotically. It happens through structure. Build routines that protect your focus. Set boundaries that protect your energy. Choose relationships that reinforce your clarity. Expansion without boundaries creates burnout. Expansion with wisdom creates legacy. Your testimony is becoming visible now. The peace that replaced panic is evident. The clarity that replaced confusion is recognizable. And as others observe your steadiness, they will begin to believe that their sorrow can also shift. If this word confirms what you are sensing, type "I walk in divine multiplication" in the comments right now. Declare it boldly as an act of agreement. Lesson code 818 is now activated over those who receive this expansion with humility and faith. And hear this carefully as your spirit remains open. When you partner with what carries light, you participate in multiplication far beyond your personal breakthrough. You're our souls still crying into pillows tonight, believing nothing will change. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seeds into lives that are ready for transformation. The Lord speaks, as you sow, so shall you reap in abundance. Let that promise feel alive and directed at you. If you sense the stirring within, say to yourself, I will advance this harvest. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this flame burning across nations. Act now. Seal your agreement through action. This expansion is not temporary excitement. It is structured increase under divine alignment. What unfolds next will stretch your faith even further, not through hardship, but through greater responsibility. You are no longer defined by the sorrowful nights behind you. You are defined by the multiplied strength within you. And the building season has only just begun. Steady your spirit, because this is the stage where confirmation becomes undeniable. What began on March 6th as a sudden, powerful turnaround is no longer just something you felt in your emotions. It is something you are beginning to see in your reality. The shift has moved from internal relief to external reinforcement. And reinforcement is what makes change permanent. For a long time, instability was familiar to you. You knew how to function under pressure. You knew how to navigate uncertainty. You became skilled at expecting delays and preparing for disappointment. But now that stability is entering your life, it may feel unfamiliar at first. Peace can feel strange when chaos was normal. Consistency can feel suspicious when predictability was your routine. Do not mistake unfamiliar peace for fragility. The massive turnaround was not an emotional surge that fades with time. It was structural realignment. It was heaven adjusting the foundation beneath your feet. And when foundations are corrected, everything built on them begins to stabilize. Look carefully at what is changing around you. Situations that once dragged on endlessly are resolving faster. Conversations that felt tense now carry clarity. Financial or professional matters that seemed stuck are showing signs of movement. Even your internal dialogue has shifted. You are not rehearsing worst-case scenarios the way you once did. That is confirmation. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this stage represents reinforcement and courage and advancement. During your difficult season, protection was necessary. Now reinforcement ensures that what has shifted in your favor remains secure. You are not walking on unstable ground. You are standing on strengthened terrain. Tonight, when your pillow once again holds tears of joy instead of sorrow, those tears will feel different from the first release. The first tears were relief that pain had broken. These tears are assurance that the pain is not returning. Relief is emotional. Assurance is structural. You are beginning to trust your new season. Trust is powerful because it changes how you act. Before, hesitation defined many of your decisions. You second-guessed yourself. You delayed action out of fear that something would collapse. And now you are moving with greater clarity. You are not rushing recklessly, but you are no longer frozen either. With confirmation comes refinement. Now that momentum is building, you must become selective with your energy. Not every opportunity aligns with your expansion. Not every voice deserves influence over your decisions. Discernment becomes essential in this stage. Archangel Michael symbolizes decisive clarity, and you must mirror that clarity in your choices. There may be moments when old patterns attempt to resurface. Familiar environments may tempt you because they are comfortable. But comfort is not always alignment. Remember the nights when sorrow dominated your thoughts. Remember the heaviness that once followed you into sleep. Do not romanticize the season you prayed to escape. March 6 divided your timeline for a reason. You are not returning to survival mode. You are advancing in stability. The massive turnaround has shifted your internal authority. Circumstances no longer dictate your emotional state the way they once did. Instead, your mindset influences how you interpret circumstances. That is maturity born from endurance. Consistency will now protect your progress. Maintain routines that strengthen your clarity. Guard your rest. Speak words that reinforce alignment. Gratitude must remain central. The pillow that once absorbed tears of sorrow now absorbs tears of appreciation. A transformation is sacred. Redacted. You may notice that relationships begin adjusting naturally. Some people will celebrate your growth. Others may feel distant because they resonated more with your previous season. Allow transitions to occur without resentment. Growth clarifies alignment. Confidence will continue to rise as confirmation increases. But humility must anchor you. Expansion without humility creates instability. Expansion with humility builds legacy. You are no longer questioning whether the turnaround was real. You are living inside its evidence. The heaviness that once overshadowed your future has lifted. The fear that once controlled your decisions has weakened. The doubt that once whispered constantly has grown quiet. And now your vision must stretch. Once stability is secured, vision expands. You will begin thinking beyond immediate relief. You will consider long-term impact. You will plan beyond survival and into sustainability. That stretching may feel unfamiliar, but it will not break you. It will build you further. The sorrowful nights are no longer your identity. They were chapters that strengthened you, not labels that define you. The tears of joy are not temporary emotional highs. They are milestones marking permanent transition. Confirmation is here. Keep walking forward with steady focus. What is unfolding next will not test your endurance. It will test your imagination. Because once a foundation is reinforced, it is ready to support something greater than you originally envisioned. Determined soul, lean in carefully because this phase is critical. You are no longer standing at the edge of change. You are moving within it. What began on March 6th as a divine interruption has now matured into undeniable acceleration. The shift is not theoretical anymore. It is practical. It is visible. It is measurable in the way your days are unfolding. For a long time, your life felt like it was moving through resistance. Even simple progress required extraordinary effort. You pushed through delays. You endured silence. You tolerated uncertainty. And although you remained faithful, you often wondered when momentum would return. That question has now been answered. Momentum has returned. The massive turnaround restored movement where there was stagnation. But acceleration requires a new level of awareness. When you have adapted to slow seasons, fast movement can feel unfamiliar. You might catch yourself hesitating, double-checking opportunities, or questioning whether things are aligning too smoothly. That reaction is rooted in past disappointment, not present reality. Do not let old caution sabotage new clarity. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this stage represents advancement under divine authority. During your hardest nights, protection surrounded you. During your transition, reinforcement stabilized you. Now advancement activates what was prepared behind the scenes. You are not scrambling to catch up. You are stepping into what was waiting for you. Pay attention to the pace of your life right now. Conversations are progressing without unnecessary tension. Decisions are forming with less internal conflict. Opportunities are arriving with less resistance. Even your confidence feels steadier. That is acceleration aligned with preparation. Tonight, when your pillow continues to receive tears of joy instead of sorrow, those tears may carry something new. Vision. You are not just grateful that the pain ended. You are beginning to see where this new road leads. Gratitude opens the door. Vision walks through it. But acceleration must be stewarded wisely. As movement increases, discipline becomes essential. Guard your time carefully. Structure your days intentionally. Do not allow distractions to steal the momentum you prayed for. Not every opportunity is aligned. Not every invitation deserves your energy. Discernment protects acceleration. Archangel Michael symbolizes courage guided by clarity. Move forward boldly, but do not move impulsively. Evaluate opportunities through the lens of purpose, not excitement. Sustainable growth is built through wise choices, not rushed decisions. You may notice that others are beginning to recognize your progress. Compliments may increase. Invitations may multiply. Doors may open in places that once felt closed. Receive encouragement, but remain grounded. Validation is affirming, but alignment is foundational. The massive turnaround changed your internal posture. Acceleration is now changing your external pace. This stage will test your consistency. It will stretch your organization. It will require stronger boundaries. You cannot carry old habits into new levels. The version of you that survived sorrow must now evolve into the version that sustains success. If this message is speaking directly to your current experience, pause right now. Like this video as a declaration that you are stepping into acceleration with wisdom. Share it with someone who needs confirmation in their own shift. Comment what doors are opening in your life. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected to this stream of spiritual clarity. Hype this message boldly, because your engagement could be the sign someone else has been waiting for. And as you continue listening, stay with me, because what is about to unfold next will reveal how to protect this acceleration from unnecessary setbacks. Notice how fear no longer dominates your thoughts the way it once did. Notice how decisions feel clearer. Notice how your sleep carries less tension. These are signs that your internal structure can sustain external growth. The pillow that once absorbed silent tears of confusion is now a witness to gratitude and expectation. A transformation is sacred. Protect it. Do not reintroduce chaos into a space that has been restored. March 6th divided your story. Before it, endurance defined you. After it, expansion defined you. Now acceleration confirms that the shift was permanent and progressive. Leadership now begins within you. Lead your habits with discipline. Lead your thoughts with intention. Lead your schedule with structure. External growth requires internal stability. Do not rush recklessly, but do not retreat unnecessarily either. Acceleration is not pressure. It is momentum aligned with preparation. And what comes next will not test your survival. It will test your capacity to think bigger, plan further, and believe beyond what you once considered possible. Stay steady. The same strength that carried you through waiting is now empowering you to move forward with clarity and courage. Rise in your thinking now, because this stage is not about what is happening around you. It is about what is happening within you. Acceleration has already begun. Doors have started opening. Stability has been confirmed. But now your perspective must elevate to sustain what had been released. March 6th was the interruption that broke sorrow. The days after secured your footing. Acceleration proved that turnaround was permanent. Now elevation is stretching your mindset to match your new reality. You cannot step into a larger life with a smaller vision. For a long time, your thoughts were shaped by limitation. You learned to expect less so disappointment would hurt less. You reduced your dreams to manageable sizes. You told yourself not to hope too boldly because you did not want to relive another night of silent tears. That mindset protected you during hardship. It allowed you to survive seasons that felt endless. But survival thinking cannot carry expansion. The massive turnaround did not just shift your circumstances. It restored your imagination. And imagination is where destiny begins forming. When sorrow filled your nights, your imagination was occupied by fear. Now that sorrow has lifted, possibility is returning. You are starting to think differently. You are considering ideas you once dismissed. You are planning beyond immediate relief. That is elevation. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence in this phase represents focused strength when stepping into high ground. Protection guarded you in battle. Reinforcement secured you during transition. Acceleration moved you forward. Now elevation calls you upward. Upward thinking requires courage. You may feel a quiet tension when you start imagining bigger outcomes. A voice may whisper, "What if it falls apart again?" That voice is memory, not prophecy. It is echoing old seasons, not predicting new ones. Do not confuse past pain with future pattern. Tonight, as your pillow continues to receive tears of joy instead of sorrow, you may reflect on how dramatically your emotional landscape has changed. What once felt heavy now feels hopeful. What once felt silent now feels supported. That contrast is evidence that seasons are not permanent. Elevation means allowing your perspective to expand without apology. You are no longer thinking only about getting through the week. You are thinking about building for the year. You are no longer asking how to avoid loss. You are asking how to create growth. That shift in questioning reveals growth in consciousness. But higher perspective demands stronger discipline. As your vision expands, distractions may increase. Opportunities may multiply. Opinions may become louder. You must filter carefully. Not every opportunity aligns with your purpose. Not every voice deserves influence over your direction. Discernment is essential at higher levels. Archangel Michael symbolizes unwavering focus under pressure. In the same way, maintain clarity when decisions feel larger. Bigger vision requires steadier commitment. You are also being prepared to influence others in ways you did not expect. The peace you now carry will stabilize conversations. The confidence you now display will encourage those who are still doubting. The clarity you now possess will guide those who feel lost. But do not allow elevation to produce isolation. Stay connected to humility. Remember the nights when sorrow felt endless. Let those memories ground you in gratitude, not fear. Gratitude protects elevation from becoming pride. Reflect on your journey since March 6th. The emotional weight that once dominated your evenings has dissolved. The confusion that once clouded your thoughts has cleared. The hesitation that once delayed your decisions has weakened. This is structural transformation. You are no longer defined by survival. You are defined by progression. Stretching is uncomfortable because it challenges familiar boundaries. But stretching strengthens capacity. When your perspective rises, your comfort zone must adjust. Do not retreat into smaller thinking just because it feels safer. The pillow that once absorbed tears of despair now absorbs tears of gratitude and anticipation. That transformation alone proves that what once felt permanent was temporary. Think beyond what you previously allowed yourself to consider. Plan with conviction. Speak about your future with authority. Move toward your goals with discipline. The turnaround was not emotional exaggeration. It was structural realignment. The acceleration was not coincidence. It was confirmation. Now elevation is the invitation, and what comes next will require imagination partnered with maturity. It will require vision anchored in discipline. It will require courage without arrogance. But you are ready. The sorrowful nights have closed. The stable ground beneath you hath been secured. Your perspective is rising to meet a future that is larger than what you once believed possible. Keep rising in your thinking, because the level you are stepping into cannot be sustained by the mindset you have left behind. My beloved, this is the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new identity. What started on March 6th as a divine interruption has now become a permanent transformation. The tears that once soaked your pillow in sorrow have been replaced with tears of joy, gratitude, and awe. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because your season shifted at the root. You are not the same person who began listening to this message. At the beginning, you were standing in hope mixed with exhaustion. You wanted to believe, but part of you was cautious. You had endured too much to accept change easily. Yet here you are now, steadier, clearer, stronger. The massive turnaround that was declared did not fade. Unfolded. Look at what has happened internally. Your thoughts are no longer dominated by fear. Your nights are no longer ruled by heaviness. Your decisions are no longer shaped by survival. Peace has replaced panic. Vision has replaced confusion. Expectation has replaced hesitation. That is transformation. Archangel Michael's symbolic presence throughout this journey represented divine enforcement. What was meant to shift has shifted. What was meant to close has closed. What was meant to begin has begun. The sorrowful chapter has ended. Not temporarily, permanently. Tonight, when your pillow holds tears of joy instead of sorrow, understand what those tears represent. They represent vindication. They represent restoration. They represent the quiet realization that you were never forgotten. The battle that once drained you built you. The waiting that once frustrated you prepared you. The silence that once confused you strengthened your discernment. Nothing was wasted. March 6 divided your life into before and after. Before, you endured. After, you expanded. Before, you questioned. After, you believed again. Before, you survived. After, you began building. And now you stand in confidence. But hear this clearly. This turnaround was not just about comfort. It was about commissioning. You were not restored simply to feel better. You were restored to carry influence. Your peace will stabilize others. Your testimony will encourage others. Your clarity will guide others. This is where purpose becomes visible. Do not shrink back into smart thinking. Do not revisit old fears. Do not rehearse past pain. You have crossed over. The pillow that once absorbed despair now absorbs gratitude. That symbol alone proves the season has changed. If this message has spoken directly to your spirit, type "My season has changed" in the comments right now. Declare it boldly. Blessing code 1224 has just been released over those who receive this word fully and walk forward without hesitation. And now listen carefully, because this moment matters. What God has done in your life through this message is not meant to stop with you. There are thousands still lying awake at night, crying into their pillows, believing nothing will ever change. When you release a super thanks, join membership, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are extending this lifeline to another soul. The Lord declares, "The seed you sow will rise as a harvest you cannot contain." Hear that as a personal invitation. If your heart is stirred right now, say within yourself, "I will advance this mission." Your giving becomes oil that keeps this light burning in dark places. Do not delay your obedience. Act now and partner in spreading this word. This is not the end. It is the confirmation that what was promised has begun. You cried in sorrow. You cried in relief. Now you cry in gratitude. The turnaround is complete. The building season is active. And your future is no longer overshadowed by the past. Walk forward boldly. Your pillow will never again hold the same tears it once did.